which is the priority industry and government focus area where high growth and future-proof business model under our MSME scheme.
Like food industry is evergreen because our consumption changing. Food value addition is agri commodities also will be there. People are changing. That's what many businesses are really evergreen.
Rejection and in-process rate of MSME applications are still so high.
It means obviously is not able to comply to the bribe demand. Secondly, some fancy idea sometimes also comes. I have seen trying to operate air conditioner with the solar lighting, solar panels. So it is not practicable.
Today, when India aiming for $5 trillion economy, corruption within MSME ecosystem doesn't just delay files, it kills opportunities, block genuine talents, and discourage entrepreneurs, which is a national competitive issue. आज का एपिसोड एक बहुत ही पोटेंशियल जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी के साथ है जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एमएसएमई, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पंचायत राज के साथ काम कर चुके हैं. ऑल्सो अपॉइंटेड एज नेशनल पैट्रन टू एंटी करप्शन फाउंडेशन ऑफ इंडिया, जिनके साथ हम डिस्कस करेंगे हाउ करप्शन इनफिल्ट्रेट द एमएसएमई जर्नी, हाउ इट इम्पैक्ट ग्रोथ, credit, trust in government, and what reforms can finally break this cycle. Dear friends, stay tuned and connected to enjoy the full show. Subsidies, grants, credit link, procurement, benefits, startup incentives, in all this public money is involved, sir. So how our anti-corruption ensures and monitor the transparency?
Actually, government has got many way of giving money to the public. One is called direct benefit transfer. So it gives a 100% grant. Like now, recently in Bihar, they transferred 10,000 rupees to ladies, 1.25 crore. And that is the grant. I mean, there's no return back to that. And there is basically a subsidy in terms of interest. To agriculture farmers, there is a 2% interest subvention, like in Kisan credit card. Normally, interest charges by the banks and also 9%, but farmers are given at 7%. To 2% interest is given by government as subsidy. Another is basically like a co-payment type. Like you invest 90 rupees, I'll give you 10 rupees. This type of also subsidies are there. So in subsidy or grants or in definitely we have to understand what is the modalities, because many people do not understand and just take that and obviously land into some other problem or complications like that. But whenever government giving grant or all thing, except that scholarship or direct transfer to DBT, in other always government has a lot of question to ask and the basically receiver has to reply, especially in audit. Because when you take the startup fund 20 lakhs something, then obviously government also asks how you have utilized 20 lakhs. In other scheme like Bihar example I gave or any other large scheme in Maharashtra or Odisha also, that women now that grant is being given 5,000 per 2 installment, that nobody asks question how you spend the money. It is up to the beneficiary to spend the money, like in scholarship also. But when in business startup fund or something like co-payment system, you always ask question how they have spent it, and you have to justify that your payment is there. Like it happens in insurance also. Many insurance they ask for 10%, 20% co-payment is called. So these are all various schemes. Obviously, one has to understand why things are done. Even banks also, when they give loan, they don't give 100%. They give depending on the land value or asset value, physical asset value or machinery, all those things, they give 70%, sometimes 90%, depending on their confidence. Even sector are also different. Like in medical lab, all those things, it's almost large level because they think that medical is very earning because they have ROI, rate of return, or basically they call revenue earning model. They see accordingly the finance because you have to pay EMI regularly every month. So these are all bank assessment that feasibility reports, detailed project reports are evaluated. Accordingly, these financing model are even the private sector also follows that. But private sector take a bit higher risk. They take a risk because the microfinancing, that small and a lot of bouncer were going to the villages and they were public shaming the borrowers and recovering that. Even in childhood, the Afghani people, money lender also, they do a lot of lending, but they do physical power, muscle power to recover from the, in Odisha also I've seen, nowadays stopped because the Afghani people are not able to come there, but it was there. Even now also money lenders concept is very strong in all over India, especially the street vendor, they take from money lender only.
So any
They don't have formal channel access. Yeah.
Anti-corruption is monitoring any like processes there where anti-corruption team is monitoring all this.
Actually, private sector fund financing, as per Indian law, the prevention corruption doesn't attract any private fellow doing, because law says that one public servant has to be involved. He should be the main agency to who is dispersing money. So obviously, it all confines to government servants or MP elected bodies. Like Sarpanch also one of the public servant, so he can be also liable for. But in private sector, it may be a crime. Somebody cheating or misappropriation fund or criminal breach of trust, that may be a crime offense as per the new law BNS also, but it cannot be Prevention of Corruption Act. And government servant, what happened, while normally three things have, four things also I mentioned sometime earlier, like it is basically taking a cut from disbursement loan. The normally bank practice that they give a 1 crore loan, they will take 10 lakh as a cut. So obviously for bank employee, if it is public sector bank, obviously it Prevention and Corruption Act, but private sector bank, it will not attract. If at a private sector bank, because it's a private totally, it doesn't attract the public servant, because Supreme Court has very clearly said who is public servant. So based on that, the Prevention and Corruption Act will apply. And secondly, when the government disburses subsidy, also so about 20 lakh subsidy is being given, and you take the officer asking bribe or 1 lakh or something, that also is against corruption, and he can be caught, arrested, and as per the law, and prosecuted also. So one has to understand where the corruption applies, where not corruption applies accordingly. And in our India, as you say, it's a very one of the major problem. Whenever any benefits being given, so there is a concept of rent seeking. In management language, it's called rent seeking. So obviously, the expectation of some cut or commission or some corrupt money bribe expected. That's one of the problem. Many people complain. Some people manage with that because they say what to do. I've seen the helplessness concept will come. They give bribe and take the money, but I think it is wrong practice going on all over India.
Okay, sir. So fake beneficiary claim, fraud, subsidiary disbursement, irregularities in tendering procurement in MSME. How our vigilance takes care all of this, sir?
Actually, fake means totally non-existent, like a ghost, like in a Benami property. I don't know. We have a Benami Property Act, especially that is used in money laundering concept. So fake means totally non-existent entity altogether. It's a fake name. I mean, the person is not existing or is dead enough long before, and his name property is going on. But normal death, then that's a different thing. Suppose parents are dying, you have property succession is there. That's a counted one. But totally non-existent. That is one of the fake. So many times I have seen recently, I think one EV big company got into a problem because they promised that it was, I think, a Blue Mart or something, Blue Smart or something. They said that they have a manufacturing facility in Pune, but one visiting that manufacturing, there was nothing, no factory at all, no shed. They were not manufacturing even single. Happens. Yeah, that is called totally fictitious, fake, and fraud to the highest extent. That is one category. Secondly, what happens? Sometimes the identity mistake may be there. Many times this identity mistake because names are same maybe, but now because of the digital proof, especially Aadhaar card or many other identification, biometric identification, so this type of can be eliminated very easily because most all Aadhaar seeded now. Whenever a government benefit is being given, you are Aadhaar seeded now. So obviously you eliminate this type of slightly, very easily you can eliminate that. But purposefully somebody is conniving, what to do? I mean, that's happening in many times, like a cyber fraud also sometimes. Now recent report that most of the bank official and employees are conniving with the fraudster. So in that, there is an issue. I mean, very strongly we should act on that. The connivance should not be allowed at all.
Exactly, sir. So in tender manipulation, over invoicing, false MSME certification. So how our ministry ensures fair competition and prevent the favoritism in all of this?
Because see, earlier you have a physical tenders, like a very open tender means any number of people can compete. Limited tender means 3 quotations. So these are all
Exactly.
earlier physical way. Even now also that is practice, because certain purchases, goods and services not possible. Like you buy a broom, you cannot have a quotations and number of open tenders, some 20 rupees, 30
Exactly.
rupees. One quotation they buy and cash the bill. Because you have to have a certain practicality, pragmatism on that. And
Yes.
small value can be purchased with just like that, because you can't go on that type of. In
Mhm.
middle level, normally they go for 3 quotations. But India, what happened? One party submits 3 quotations because he registered 3 company in his own name. That is one of the problem. It is not exactly competitive, but it is a what to do. There is no other way unless you accept that to some extent. I'm telling you, maybe it is wrong, but normally it isn't. But no, because same party does the 3 quotation and obviously gets order based on the lowest quotation, because we have got lowest quotation concern. Main problem happens the open tender, which is basically nowadays electronic being floated. It is in a portal website, then totally electronic way of sending, no physical nothing. But now they actually government is promoting GEM, government e-marketplace. It is
Yes.
basically a electronic platform for mostly small level players, mostly MSME, or not very big players, because the big players are in a different perspective altogether. They cannot participate in that. But it is like a 10 lakh, 20 lakh, even a crore also can participate in the MSME GEM, and all can registration free, and you have to upload your products and services. And when the requirement is done by any government department, even it is also applicable to PSUs now, government PSUs, not private. Private are not allowed. Even individual are not allowed in the government marketplace. They are banned to operate in that. As a supplier, you can, but you cannot purchase through GEM as an individual. So government purchases and PSUs purchase through GEM, and in that the requirement they float, and it goes to n number of participants in the registered participant in the GEM, supplier vendors. So whoever quotes low quality matched, and obviously order is automatic, and the payment also after receiving the supply verification of quality, the payment is almost automatic. It is almost like smooth process, but I mean, human elements are there always, because there are always complaints of quality compromise. Plus the branded products are not available, because in market what happens, branded and non-market branded products also much, every field is there, except
Exactly.
maybe automobile or maybe high-end high value items. But other medium level, low level, non-branded item, that is also one of the problem happening here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Also, that you mentioned that PSUs are participate in the GEM and they take out some of the MSME products. So now, what happening in so many VDPs, vendor development program? If PSUs are coming, they are, sir, outdated. Some of the products they say that this is not listed our list, so we cannot take. So, what you suggest in that case? Because so many MSME they prepare very small product also.
GEM has a provision that you can select brand name, and on the brand name itself, vendors will be asked to quote the price. So
Exactly.
you can select, like I'm buying a TV, suppose LED TV, I can select a Samsung TV. No bar on that. It is not a TV as a generic name, and people will quote for Samsung, LG, or many other brands, and you're confused in that, because different brands have different features, different prices. So obviously that confusion need not be followed. But you can specify that I want a Samsung TV, and specification will be mentioned. And based on that, different vendor, different manufacturer, the supplier of that Samsung TV can quote. That is the best way. People don't understand that, but they make a unnecessarily, get confused in that. That is also. Secondly, what happened in vendor development program, we are actually in India, we are a very backward that. I think
Exactly,
you
sir.
know the example, Toyota car example,
Mm-hmm.
especially they really made a world biggest automobile manufacturer by
Mm-hmm.
doing the vendor backend. That they go to vendor also to develop their technology and product. We are least bothered. Even the highest of highest company, they said as vendor supplying the whatever quality, we'll check the quality, but it is not our business to help him or in designing or improving his product process. So this is India. We have to go a long way. You have to learn from Toyota or many other companies, new generation companies now.
Okay, okay, sir. So PMEGP, CGTMSC, Cluster Development Fund, Industrial Incentive. So does really anti-corruption protects all the leakages in between all this?
Actually, cluster development, it goes in the textile, even machinery, because basically to
Yes, sir.
take the advantage of scale. Basically, cluster development, basically scale. Like in Tirupur, you have got in the Coimbatore, near to Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. It is basically textile hub. So they get a scale. Economy scope is there, economy of scale is there. That's what the cluster development is encouraged, because transportation, then a lot of technology there, possible service maintenance, many other things can be at one place, so that easy to product, and obviously dispatch of the product also possible. There is a cluster development. You must have a cluster development. I mean, understanding local terrain condition and facilities. But like unless you do that, I mean, new age manufacturing very difficult now, because like cluster development, I can say that thermal power plant is based near to the coal mines. You cannot have it away, because many other places they own distant power plant got closed, because the coal transportation very costly. I mean, local mouth fed is called. So you should have like that. Wherever the facilities are lower by the wherever the raw material is available, you must do the operation there. It is not like a small machinery. It is nowadays a big production, obviously raw material. Secondly, the as you say that various schemes. Basically, various scheme is basically training oriented one. Normally, they don't go directly manufacturing helping. It is your the entrepreneur's responsibility to go for manufacturing or service development. Basically, training program. In training program, many are there. Bank also do through RCT. It's called Regional Entrepreneurship Training Institute. Bank sponsored one. Every district one RCT will be there. It is done through Rural Development Ministry. Secondly, the Employment General Program. Now, skill development program also going on.
Exactly.
So some component of entrepreneurship development is there. MSME, small micro enterprises, small enterprises development program is there. But ultimately, see, what about the theoretical training? Unless you come into water to swim, then only people will understand that real difficulty, what the problem. Maybe knowing a lot of technique of all four stroke of the swimming, but unless you jump in the water, it's very difficult to know, understand what is difficulty. India is problem that theoretically we know many things, but when you practice, a lot of difficulties I've seen. I mean, I interact with many young entrepreneurs, many other. First thing that financing is very difficult. Nobody gives finance, and unless you have a physical asset and very valuable asset, then obviously against that property collateral or mortgage, people give loans. Secondly, what happened? The technology adoption also is not easy. Machinery, all those things are very difficult to get in. Most are imported, high technology oriented, imported. Then you have to license with them and getting imported. Thirdly, our licensing is very complicated. Very complicated. I mean, one way you see, we feel that, oh, very good. Recently, the labor codes, I think 29 laws converted into 4 thing. But many people are expressing reservation on that, because the gratuity eligibility after 1 year. So obviously cost to company is higher, because that is there. Plus, secondly, the many other facilities are there, extended working hour for women or night shift, all those things are that possible now. But still, then there is issues. Many labor organizations are really against it, and some are for, some are against, and that's what the dynamics going on. So, but I feel licensing for any smallest industry, you have to take 15, 16 license, like environment, electrical, your garbage disposal. So many licenses are there.
So many licenses are required. Yes, sir.
It is not one single way you get, and every time. Even labor licenses now different. So many licenses are there.
Yes, sir. Yes. So rejection and in-process rate of MSME applications are still so high. What reforms are planned on this, sir?
Actually, even America also, 1 out of 4,000 idea or business idea succeed. That is, they are statistically as per research report. It is not that every idea will succeed in any business. It takes time. And obviously, suppose now, 10 years before, any digital entrepreneurship will not work, because that time the internet was not very high. Now the AI model business is really prospering. So that time, 10 years ago, you never heard an AI concept at all. Now the AI applications in business is much higher. So obviously, time factor also there. What technology available? Secondly, the customer also behave accordingly. Now digital platform customer is accepting very easily. 10 years ago, perhaps they would not accept it at all. So whatever digital payment system would have failed 10 years ago. Now customers are also accordingly adjusting to the digital platform. So obviously the time plus your own factors also come in, and your own innovativeness also comes in picture. The more innovative, more business success, and more growth in the business also.
Exactly, sir. And what about the in-process rate claims, sir? There are so many projects we have seen that are still in process from past years together, and that has not been approved after depositing of all documents to our MSME team. So, what do you say on that? Because some of the entrepreneurs get frustrated out of that, sir.
Actually, behind the scene, there must be expectation of bribe. One thing is that because why project, not because somebody entrepreneur has applied his mind, prepare
Yes,
a detailed project report and not getting approved means obviously he is not able to comply to the bribe demand. Secondly, some fancy idea sometimes also comes. I have seen, I saw a project like some place in university. He was trying to operate air conditioner with the solar lighting, solar
Oh.
panels. So it is not practicable. Even I saw, I think, one airport telling that we are 100% solar energy. I said, so how come solar energy? Solar energy only daytime, nighttime, no solar energy. So even if store and battery technology very costly. I remember railway ministry, central government, I think 5 6 years ago, that one train moves that wind flow. And one fellow suggested, why not to harness that wind flow energy? But it's a stupidity. Because to create that wind, you require another energy to spend and then to harness. What is the point? It is not natural wind. So
Yes.
these are all many fancy ideas also come in. I don't know, but banks will be very scrutinizing, very detailed, and obviously they will say that. But I think banks would be, bold enough to tell that this is not workable. Better to reject rather than keeping it pending. Keeping
Yes,
in
sir.
pending means there are some under table expectation.
Yes, sir. So, what new skill development programs will be introduced soon to make MSME entrepreneurs ready for the industry 5.0?
Actually, India is now grappling with the problem. Our manufacturing very low. We are heavily dependent on the Chinese imports and especially day-to-day use. Now MSME should, like in US, the Trump is focusing on that.
Yes, yes. So much of
Manufacturing should not
innovation.
shift out of the US. So, he's always, whatever way, by carrot and stick policy, tariff, or various other factors like H1B visa, $1 lakh fees, or whatever way, he's trying to bring manufacturing to USA. You must understand that, and you must appreciate also. Nothing wrong for a country president to do good for his own country. We may be
Yes.
affected by that. But similarly, in our country also, we have to, because in recently Deepavali, all LED lights were imported from the China. Even I told firecracker, all the rockets were from China. This is the dependence now. Even the pharmaceutical chemicals, all are from China. Recently, the even rare magnet used in EV vehicles from China. We are depending on fertilizer from China now. That is why the recent agreement with China is basically 3-4 items, fertilizer and rare earth magnet, and one of items were there. So we are heavily dependent on China really.
Cheap
so
also.
That level,
Cheap also. That
chip not so much of China. It is basically Taiwan and other countries. Chip not so much of China actually.
Okay.
But these are all fertilizer. India is a country, and fertilizer we are depending from China is a very large. That's what the fertilizer supply, urea, many other supply problem was there. So MSME now focused what day-to-day use products and create a manufacturing base very strongly. And that no point in big industry, but like our textile industry now is a basically small scale industry now. Earlier in Bombay, big textile mills were there. But now no big textile mill existing. They are all fragmented and they are only very small units of textile, and we are very good in garments and textile now. Similarly, in other areas also, MSME should focus on that.
Yes, sir. Sir, will MSME cluster be integrated with any vocational universities for hands-on training? Because EDP is theoretical. What upgrades are planned to make EDP business ready?
Yeah, actually, MSME also need technology. In my PhD research, actually, I had focused strongly on the R&D support to MSME. Because big industry have got good fund to fund their R&D. It's called sunk cost, basically. Because
Oh.
R&D you have to recover. Like in pharmaceutical, any new drug development, they keep the price of drug high because to recover the R&D cost. Because you take years of research to develop a drug. The molecular formula of a drug is very complicated. And clinical trial testing and human adaptability, so many are experimented. That's what initially that patented drug is very costly. I mean, non-generic drugs are very costly. Similarly, in MSME has to be supported in R&D, but MSME do not have sufficient fund, reserve fund to support that. That's the government has to do. In my thesis, I pointed out government has to have provision for. I remember it's a very low in Orissa 2012 or 13. I saw the figure. It was 24 lakh for whole state of Odisha. 24 lakh is a peanuts for a MSME industry.
Right.
MSME is almost like a 6 crore units are there MSME in India. Yeah, Odisha must have lakhs also. So how can you support the small budget? I mean, government should have a very strong budget support and financial support for R&D in MSME, and the research institution like DRDO, all those things. There should be very subsidized way of technology transfer. They develop technology, but they have to charge very high, and MSME find difficult to pay that amount because for them also takes time. Once they buy technology, developing a product and marketing it takes time and a lot of capital intensive. So the DRDO, many other organizations develop a product, but they charge very high. I mean, it's not practicable for them to. That's one of the problem happening really. I mean, the R&D support should be very subsidized and very open and very freely we should give. Like it happened in US, they don't charge too much of R&D.
Exactly. So EDP conduct training every year. So what steps are taken to track the participants after the training is over? No guaranteed pathway is available for directly a linkage called training, bank, loan, market linkage, and the business success. Is there any plan that
Actually,
EDP is?
just to add the to one point, Volvo is a big automobile. They invented the seatbelt system long back. And they gave it free to all manufacturer, to four-wheelers. So they said we will not charge the R&D cost recovery from the other manufacturers. This type of our broad-minded and magnanimity should be there in the government level or government big laboratories for research and support supplied to MSME. As you said, that training, very good training is very important. Because the new technology training, even all those things are there. But actually, the beneficiary has to be told in own language because the beneficiary is not able to understand the really getting clarity or fundamental clear. It's no point. So it should not be just for sake of training. It should be very, the ingrained to mind. You understand, and he also tries his own from his own side application of mind to develop further. Training may discuss some theoretical aspects, but it is very practical and it should be. And another in India, what you are praying, many people have this concept of training manufacture, but marketing lacking. Especially it happening in our handloom now. In Odisha, I have seen they are not able to market. When I was posted in Pune, I give an example. The 20 to 30 odd weavers came from Bargad area. So they invited for inaugurate. I inaugurated. And they found that they are not comfortable local language. English also not so good. Obviously, the clientele has to be told in their language, and Marathi, especially those because Pune is Marathi based. So what happened? I employed my students. I had an MBA student, and free of cost. So they marketed a product, and I know, in 1 week they got 32 lakh sales. They are on 22 weavers, they came 32 lakh sales. So this type of marketing support is also to be done in training because how to market. And nowadays the marketing is the basically success of business. You can sell a product, then only you can get a business. Otherwise, just manufacture, keep it yourself, then loss.
Yes, sir. Sir, as I stated that EDP conduct that training every year. Until the training process are there for 7 days or 21 days, till then they will give some training. But once the participants are coming out of the training, no one has keep a track of them, or no one calls from any EDP site or from our DICs just to track those students or the participants. So what you suggest on that, sir?
Yeah, that is always because we do training just for sake of training, statistical figure that we train 1 lakh people. Even the skill development also happening same thing. I'm really honestly telling you, like we generate a statistic and publish the data that we I mean, this type of that. Basically, it doesn't work that way. I
Yeah.
mean, like as you said, the continuity support is there. Like suppose the student in reading, studying in a class, unless until after the school also there is support is given by parents or some extra coaching or something, then he cannot improve that way, because that's why the training in the entrepreneurship or business also has to be continuous till he gets success. Once
Exactly,
he
sir.
gets take off, because the take off is very difficult in any field.
Definitely, sir.
Business also take off, till you support to take off, then obviously he feels like in crashes. So
Hmm.
after takeoff, I can fly very nicely, but that like is lacking, seriously lacking. We are not very sincere in objective to that. We are generating some statistics, and we feel that very happy, and we have done because we are large population. Our statistical figure also goes very high, and we said we have crossed America level. Because America has 30 crore population, we have got 140 crore. Even any small district has 30 lakh population. So obviously we have a large figures and we generate and become happy with that, but it's not so. Actually,
Yes, sir.
we should not be happy with the statistical figure, rather than outcome we should generate.
Yes, sir. So, is there any unified ecosystem where startups and MSME collaborates to each other?
Actually, MSME are mostly ancillary to big industry.
Okay.
Wherever big steel plants are there, the surrounding ancillary are mostly MSME. So that partnership has to be there, because the big industry will not be able to do small thing, and very large variants. Obviously, it has happened in steel plants, cement plants, because many ancillary development. That should be the way of operating MSME mostly, because MSME cannot go direct to market directly, but they should have a ready buyer. Basically, for them, survival is a ready buyer. So that partnership has to come, and as you say, that partnership with the academy and the MSME also should be there. The basically higher level research institution, academic institutions, they also should partner on them. Because then only our deficiency of manufacturing can be overcome. Otherwise, we cannot compete with China. We cannot compete with because the cost of production is very high. So we have to change the whole thinking on that. Like Bangladesh did it. Bangladesh did in a garment. Now Bangladesh is one of the top exporter of garment. We are also good in garment export, but we are not compared to Bangladesh. Very that on the backward compared to Bangladesh now.
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, just coming to this podcast, I was talking to many entrepreneurs. What they have a small complaint on this that you can ask, sir, when you are meeting, that most of the DIC officers won't be available for normal public, and what role DICs will play in next decades.
Actually, I say DIC should be closed down. It's obsolete now. Because with the
Okay.
present context, DIC, because we should have a sunset for system. DIC is irrelevant. I've seen in district posting, it's a immaterial. Nobody goes to the DIC or the industrial estate. All are in a very a dilated condition. Very few people are operating there, because now the culture has changed. I mean, I don't know. Government has to close certain things. Just not no point in continuing those. It's a basically drain in our resources, and honestly, a termite like eating away everything. No point. I mean, it's basically now business cannot be done in that way. And I think Bill Gates had told that business at the speed of thought now. So DIC is very snail level, and their performance very snail. As you say, the very snail level they perform. You cannot do business in that. They may do some here and there, maybe very uneducated person, maybe some shops or something, or small pin manufacturing. But those are very elementary now. DIC does very elementary.
Yes,
So
sir.
I feel that DIC should be closed.
Yes, sir. Sir, will government allow a faster single window approval for MSME loans and registrations for a common man? Is there any reform is
Actually,
going to come?
always is to doing business. Actually, aim is that, but somehow our bureaucracy is not allowing. Please
Oh,
understand that our bureaucracy is so dominant, they are not allowing to this. And secondly, the really back behind the mind, the rent seeking, the bribe taking, all those things is also one of the obstacle for. Otherwise, it's possible. In other countries, I have seen the registration of a business is 24 hours. You just apply online and you got. Now a small you register a business, you get a PAN card or the labor card very online itself on the. That's now possible. Earlier it was not so. But still, then a lot of reforms are required in the business. And why should you doubt that people are doing all mischief? We should trust businessmen, and they are wealth creators. Even Honorable Prime Minister has many times mentioned that wealth creator to be respected. But somehow I feel in our practicality, the wealth creator now in many retail shops are now GST notices unnecessarily. If they take now the I have seen in the many places now the retail shops are not taking digital payment. They think if you take digital payment, we are getting GST notice. This is a useless way of stupidity of because taking that's why they are taking cash. So these are all harassment to industry should not be there. Those who are entrepreneurs should be really respected a lot in society, and they should be really helped a lot also. Why should you harass them? Why should you burden them with extra unnecessary things really?
Yes, sir, because that is the main challenge comes here to the pathway of an entrepreneur. They get frustrated out of that, those small things.
Obviously, because one is trying to do extra thing something, and he get every time headache and he can't sleep at the night. So
Yes,
obviously, why should he? Because I'm telling another example. I was a milk federation MD. So the farmers are really heavily taxed right from morning, early morning to evening. They said, why should you rear the cow, buffalo? Why do milk and all those things? We can buy from market. So if
yes,
everybody buys from market, where the milk will come? So we
yes.
should help them. I mean, we should help. Why should we not help them? They are actually providing services, goods to us, and we are taxing them by our agencies, various income tax, GST, many other. I mean, nuisance value of the departments and all those things. I don't appreciate at all.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So, a biggest challenge is a common public not aware of our DICs and this MSME programs. So, what awareness platform ministry is going to taken up? Another five.
Actually, now in the present digital platform side, awareness is best is self-awareness. Now everything is available in the digital platform. You can Google search or whatever way search, study all those things. That's the best thing now. Even technology also will get very easily. Secondly, I'm not telling DIC is or say bad, but it is outdated now, really outdated because their project report you go, it's a very old technology manufacturing or services.
Yes.
Now the IT sector never depends on DIC. IT, information technology never depends. They do all their own way. That's it. Building AI model. I don't think any DIC in anywhere in India will have a AI understanding, artificial intelligence. So what to talk of now? AI model is also applicable in various applications are there. So the DIC, I think no point in. I don't advise the young entrepreneur to go to DIC now. Do yourself, and rather you talk to the business leaders, even the in your district some business leaders there, and they if you are good enough to advise them, so it will be very good. They will teach them also where to go. I've seen many philanthropist entrepreneurs are there because at a very peak level they think that they should contribute back to society. They do a lot of activities.
Okay.
So that is the best opportunity to learn from them and operate rather than this typical old archaic way of DIC. It doesn't help at all.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So, and on the awareness plus platform, anything government is going to taken up on that?
Yeah, government is doing, but again government is basically two step behind. The whole expertise, everything is basically private industry. That's why in India there is a proverb, this because without government involvement IT sector could progress. Had the government involvement, IT also would have collapsed. That's what many people in the IT sector they tell, because there was no government intervention. That's what the IT sector could progress, and now is a very big service provider exporting software to all over world. So many times the government bureaucratic system doesn't work. I have seen very close eyes. You have to understand, and maybe government is very big in India. You have to depend to some extent for the market like GEM. Because if you are registered to GEM, you get order from government means you have a certain revenue earning from the your product and services supplied to government. So government is a big purchaser. India is a government is a big purchaser actually, state government or central government. So that marketing your all those things that's a fine enough. But other support, maybe finance, you can depend on because the government has a lot of PSU banks are there or government schemes are there to subsidize. But other things like your own technology, government doesn't give technology much. Government has no technological business because the all.
So, why do our PMEGP applications wait for months together for the loan approval without a single update from bank and DICs?
Loan, as you said, because banks have their own way of basically scrutiny. They are basically they analyze the DPR. So obviously, what the bank expect one has to satisfy, because they are the giver of loan. And secondly, most of the bank want also some physical asset, collateral, or mortgage, either way of fixed deposit or the land or building or machinery, which they think that if you default loan, they can monetize that and repay the loan. Even now, the banks are also wanting some insurance mechanism. The borrowers to be insured, because there is also condition like a home loan. You say that the insurance to be insured, a borrower to be insured, even the building to be insured also. Because once you buy a second-hand building, so in new construction building they may not do, because under construction building is not insured, but the second-hand purchase they say that we will insure the building also. That is the concept. Even the factory machinery also, they say the insurance mechanism should do, like against the fire, earthquake or flood, those type of insurance mechanisms. So these are all banks requirement. Once you follow that, after that, suppose and the banks are really creating problem, then you have right to seriously go against them. Then there is a obvious expectation of bribe, because if you fulfill all conditions and still then they are not giving, that means there are certain bad things going on in the bank. So one has to raise the escalate the issue to higher ups. If they are really asking you bribe, then you complain to the especially public sector bank. Private sector they cannot do, because that's not applicable in the prevention. But you must report to the anti-corruption agencies like CBI or State Vigilance Department, all those things. So that is one thing. But one has to, then you have to, India is basically, it is not everything automatic. So one has to struggle. So no, not losing hope. If one bank is nowadays many banks are there. If you are not been getting one bank satisfied, then you can approach other banks also. So it is not that it is end of the road. So they also know that many service provider there. So obviously you can go to like SBI is not giving, you can go to Canara Bank. Similarly, this type of, or even sometimes private sector bank also not doing. Private sector bank tried slightly risk compared to the public sector bank. So those are various, our highest level short-term loan, especially you take, even many financiers are also there. Or and now that angel investors, basically they don't charge interest per se, but they charge exit way. You have to give 2-3 times their exit value, because all the investment they make by, you must have basically angel funding or various venture funding, all those things they do. So they don't charge interest per month or annually, but what they expect, they invest money, and after 2-3 years they want to exit, and at the time exit they want to take the 2-3 times their investment. That is the way of financing model. So this type of also one can work out depending your own business idea and growth scale. These are everybody has to decide himself really. But once you go, it should not happen now. The typically bad example of Baiju now. Baiju siphoned up the money, and now US court is asking to pay $1 billion. Perhaps I think all lost. He cannot do it. So this type of also is not good. Because ultimately, somewhere you will be put behind bars. It has happened in big business in, especially real estate, JP, Unitech. A lot of top people went to jail. So it is not a good idea. If you peace of mind and a good life in life, so you should not cheat. Many also have a business model, very cheating mentality right from being. Recently, I got entrepreneur, young entrepreneur coming to me. That you collect 360 rupees from borrowers of a finance, and he doesn't want to provide any service. He said, okay, we'll some cosmetic way of telepathy consultation of doctor. I said, you know, who will subscribe to that? So obviously, right from that beginning itself, cheating mentality. So obviously, it doesn't succeed. It is a temporary. Obviously, if anything goes wrong, he'll be jailed and put away. Even the Subrata Roy Sahara group, classically he died, and he died in jail, almost de facto in jail. So I know this all Ambi Valley. All are in closed, seized, and being auctioned. Recently, news that Ambi Valley being bought by Adani. So this type will happen. You will not be able to enjoy life and honestly headache, and people will be after you. So this type of one to do hanky panky. Obviously, you will face hanky panky. So better to do even small level. Never aim very big initially. It may grow automatically, but it is not so. It takes time. It almost 1 generation, 2 generation for a business to grow. It is not a Tata has become very big. It is not. It is, I think, 100 to 150 years
Yes, sir.
work in that field. So that level we must realize the reality and practicality. This is the way we should operate.
Yes, sir. So many banks openly says that PMEGP is a loss-making scheme. Is there a system or is there any system to track branch level staffs of banks?
Actually, certain government scheme like a street vendor financing 10,000. So many banks say don't finance because it's loss making, because once you street vendor, their physical location identity is very difficult. They migrant labor mostly. So they say thou we are giving, but recovery is very low. But at the same time in banking also, and they say that if any poor man taking loan, it is a poor man's headache to repay. If a rich man taking loan, it's a bank headache to recover. So most, research wise, we have seen the poor people repay very quickly, properly. It is rich people they defraud. And rich people they get away because of political influence, big connections. Although that's they got take haircut and the interest, but poor people do not get. So it is basically how you visualize and what angle you see. So, but like in because microfinance, the poor payment rate is very high, 99% repayment. Even the normal MSME also, it is repayment is very high. Very, of course, some big player coming and defaulting, that's a different thing. But in normally it is very high repayment. The self-help group also, it is 99% repayment. Self-help group. That's why self-help group financing easy from the government. And when you do business, don't do individually. Form a similar-minded people. 2, 3 people should be there, and better that is, because the your leveraging your capability easier. Single-handed, very difficult to do business nowadays.
Yes, sir. So, will our ministry launch a single window tracking system where applicants see their loan process?
Actually, earlier, some years ago, before COVID, there was a public sector bank loan in 59 minutes. I was directly involved in that, implementing in especially food industry. But when I found behind the screen, there was very complications, because one agency, I think one startup agency took 1,000 rupees from individual applicant and processed and gave some certification that you can apply loan. But in that, what happened? Suppose I apply, I was getting 9.5%. In the same platform, another fellow getting the 8.5%, and it will be different bank. So obviously, I will question why I am paying 9% and another is 8.5%. Then I asked banks. Banks say that this agency give whatever they tell, but we will take collateral. Without that, we cannot give loan. So this why whole thing collapsed overnight. It was launched by Honorable Prime Minister. I remember in Deepavali time, I think before COVID. But within 3 months collapsed. Now you don't see PSB loans in 59 minutes at all. It was said that your loan will be approved in 59 minutes, less than a hour. So these are the whole slogan here and going on, but it didn't work at all. So similarly, many schemes of government also is not working because it doesn't have that practical applicability and eliminating the contradiction inside, inbuilt contradiction. These are serious contradiction. Different bank were charging different interest rates. Secondly, no collateral means no loan. So what will you do? But that startup which was charging 1,000 rupees made really crores of rupees in just giving a certificate, and that paper was useless. Useless paper it was giving. Nobody was valuing that paper. So many times we are falling prey to many this type of really I cannot say non-practical ideas really.
Yes, sir. So that means any reform that from government side it is coming where applicants see their status online.
Actually, theoretically they are announcing. Always any government schemes or parliament discussion or the budget presentation, we all say that ease of doing business, but actually it is not translating to the real people who do need the financing or help or whatever way. So that we have to continuously struggle. The political people, political representative, MP, MLA should really struggle to raise the issue very strongly. And that is the way we can work. Otherwise, it's not happening at all. If licensing also still, whatever best we do, it's not single window till now. You have to have multiple way of inspection, licensing, different windows. You have to go and get the license. Still not single window. Whatever you may say single window theoretically, but not practically.
So, is there any thing like banks are not, penalizing for non-performance under PMEGP targets? they must be having targets, and they are not meeting the targets under PMEGP scheme. So does anybody from government or ministry penalizing our banks if they are not meeting their targets?
Actually, targets are there, like our portfolio of agriculture funding. Like our agriculture funding, one portfolio is that they have fulfilled. But under the Mudra, actually Mudra is behind this scene is very different game. Mudra basically you say that 50,000, 5 lakh, 10 lakh or some 20 lakh, something like a Sisu, Kishore and Tarun. But actually what is happening, these people are not getting. The Mudra scheme, big industry, already established industry taking loan on the pretext. And they said our quota is fulfilled and we are fulfilling. Actually, there's a research study is going on now. Mudra, thou we say 30 crore people have taken, but 30 crore people are not the beginners or newcomers.
Yes,
it is already established players are taking. So what is the point? Because all things are basically that 50,000 loan for a beginner only. It's a very just fresh pass out from a college, a graduate, and he's taking loan, but he doesn't get, because he has to give some court loan letter, means parents may not be sufficient to support him. So those targets are really a misnomer and wrongly projected targets. So that level we have to a lot of reforms. We cannot go on trumpeting that we are doing Mudra loan. I really skeptical on the statistical data. And India is very pathetic condition in our statistical data. We really, distort the data and gives a wrong picture. I've seen a lot of always places on the billboards, 30 crore Mudra loans. And I think 3 lakh crore Mudra loan. It is basically a misnomer. I've asked many banks. They said this is the way of existing business are being given that to fulfill the target. But actually the objective of that is not so.
So I think in this case, banks should be penalized.
Penalize, the problem what happens, see, most of the banks are government. And government itself operates. So who will penalize itself? Suppose I do mistake and I don't penalize myself. So another agency is to penalize, but in our patronizing is very strong. You cannot expect that they will penalize, and always the inside hobnobbing is very close, and it doesn't happen. Maybe private player, but private player is very different. You cannot control private now because they charge different interest rate. Even public sector bank also freedom. Earlier it was regulated, government determined interest rate for loan or deposits. Now it's all free.
Yes, sir.
So that freedom is given, but at the same certain controlling mechanism is not operating. And maybe in a public speech they may do, but behind the screen they sit together and sort out their own difficulties, and they say that it's not possible. They're obviously not possible. I say that because the 59 minutes loan I gave example. Similarly, which bank was penalized for not giving loan? Though it was a 59 minutes loan approval and easy loan, but nobody got loan. And that whole scheme announcement got collapsed within, I think, maybe 2-3 months itself. People realized and it didn't work at all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So after being exposure to so many, diversities of social sector and also our MSME sectors, can you just suggest our viewers who are watching this podcast, which is the priority industry and government focus area where high growth and future-proof business model under our MSME scheme?
Actually, India is a big market. So you have to understand the market first. Because unless you understand market, very difficult to start a business. That's one first thing. Secondly, certain business are evergreen, like food industry is evergreen because our consumption changing. Food value addition is agri commodities also will be there. People are changing. That's what many business are really evergreen. So thirdly, what happens? You have to always have system of operating a model, the maximum return from a low investment. Because high investment and low return, obviously loss making, you get into debt trap. One should not get into debt trap. And I really advise in a business, your own personal money, 30 to 40% or maximum 50%. Beyond that, you should not go. Always take loan and do the business.
Yes,
because when you take loan, your sincerity to repay and continue growth, you become slightly conservative in your expenditure. Otherwise, people do spend a lot and they get into problem. Like credit card types behavior should not be there.
So any 3 business industry you can suggest a viewer that they can start with?
For Odisha, I say the dairy industry should grow very fast. Because I know I've seen the Milky Moo and one or two, they grew very fast. Ompad is basically never want to grow. And that's what dairy industry, because now the milk and milk products, because I was in dairy industry long back, around 13, 14 years, more than that rather, 17, 18 years ago. I found dairy industry, evergreen industry, and not per se, milk per se is not profitable, but milk products. And this is ever, self-life higher, people consume paneer, ghee, ice cream, these are all maybe seasonal sometime, festival time, big quantity requirement, that's one of the. Secondly, in our Odisha, to become specific, because we are very paddy oriented, maximum paddy growth. Paddy is very surplus now. Paddy price is not going, so you have to diversify to some other crop. So like soybean or groundnut or many other things. So these are all, and especially now cooking oil, edible oil is a big demand. Now price is really a high, 200 rupees per liter. So obviously one can go for the edible oil seeds, and that's much beneficial. And short-term crop is not long-term crop, so it should be not a large irrigation requirement. And thirdly, I feel that whenever big industry is there, around that, try to set up in ancillary. Don't do away from that, because marketing will be very difficult. So some ancillary near to the big industry.
As recently, sir, in month of June, our Odisha also announced so many maritime projects, and Odisha is going to be the Eastern Maritime Corridor to India. So, any product you want to suggest our viewer for the exporter point of view, which they can succeed in?
Actually, we are situated in the western side, eastern side of India.
Yes, sir.
Eastern side India countries are not big importer. Basically, western side marine aqua products are basically Gulf region. They import lot. That's what, right from Bombay to down south Kanyakumari, the marine fish, prawns, especially frozen, all are exported to Gulf. So that's one of the, we have to understand the advantage of Gulf rather than, and in Gulf what happened, many Indian diaspora is there. They consume our Indian product. Their preference is that. So that's what these areas are able to export. Whereas Orissa has got a different disadvantage, because Indonesia, Malaysia, all are our country to east to our Odisha. That problem is there. So one have to understand. Rather than exporting to that area, because you bring by land and through Bombay, you export to Gulf, it's very costly, because transport, all those things. Rather than we target our West Bengal, Kolkata, big cities around, that is much better. Orissa production, I mean, especially why Orissa should be dependent on only the potato import from West Bengal. Orissa should be sufficient in potato, because potato is good shelf life, and you can do a lot of products, value-added products from potato itself. Now potato chips are there, and even sometimes the potato flakes also possible. I mean, many products can be done. So this type of thing, and potato is evergreen vegetable consumed all throughout year by all people. And those type of, why should we depend on import from other places?
This
and
year,
our Odisha.
Yes, sir. This year, Odisha has got the highest exporter of mango, I guess, in India. There was
mango is possible, but mango is a seasonal one, because mango is a particular season, only 2 months window, and they do export to even within India also. I understand that. But mango is another, because a lot of that they call radiation, very quality standards, that insects should not be there. So that also farmers are benefiting. Not, I'm not disputing. Even I think rather than exporting, you must try to make a pulp out of mango for juice making in rest part of not the mango season, because juice making is very profitable actually.
Yes, sir.
Because I have seen, I was doing in my milk fermentation time, we were buying the pulp, tinned pasteurized pulp, and we are diluting to juice, and marketing and packaging and marketing were very good business actually. Instead of just export focus, rather than we should do pulp manufacturing and keep it for the juice making in the rest of the year actually.
That is what our government is, PMEFM or PMEFM scheme, something that is government is announcing. So it comes under that, on the food processing unit. Yes, sir. So which rural business model shows the strongest profitability under our Spurti and OPOD, that one product, one district program for Odisha, sir?
Actually, the one district, one product, basically it was mostly aimed from handicrafts actually.
Handicrafts, okay.
Mostly handicraft, because other products I understand, But handicraft is a very different ball game altogether. Different. So every like Moradabad is famous for brassware. And even the Orissa also has got like a filigree work in Cuttack. So mostly
Kandamala is for
handicraft.
its turmeric.
Yeah, even organic also, that mustard, all those things, because the those areas were there. So you can expand to other product also, the agri products and other manufacturing also.
Yes.
Like you can say one district like Bargad is good for the saris now, handloom saris. So that is also actually operating that way already, but not very big way. We are not able to operate that big way, but it is already operating to some extent.
Yes,
But only one district, one product for identity purpose, I understand. That is a good thing. But it has to have a scope advantage. And secondly, the skilled manpower advantage. Thirdly, otherwise you cannot operate. Like now in Bargad area, the weaving is all the weavers are located at one place. So they do a lot of saris and garment weaving. That's I understand. So these are all skill also one important. Local people should be skilled enough to understand that manufacturing. Otherwise, just you do one, nobody knows about that. Like even in Karnataka, I know one area district is there toys, wooden toys. So all are doing the wooden toys now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
that type of practicable Orissa, we have to find out each district. But I gave example like textile or the filigree work or those type of already there. Even coastal side, why should you have other than the fishing and aqua or marine product oriented? Because coastal area, if you do something, it will not work because they depend on fishing and fish oriented or aqua product oriented business. That is much better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And any project under our Spurti?
Actually, see, I'm not telling that particular any scheme is there. Scheme are having wide base.
Yes, sir.
How to take advantage of the scheme is much important, basically.
Yes, sir.
Your own use, you have to understand your own use. And secondly, under a scheme, you get some certification concept. That is one advantage that you operate under schemes. Obviously, bank also comfortable to finance because they think there's a government sponsored scheme, though you are fitting into that. That is there.
Yes,
And you want to try to take advantage of the schemes definitely. But obviously, the individual initiative, individual ideas, and individual efforts are more important than just scheme. If you go by the scheme, it doesn't succeed really. Just initially, maybe some hype may be there, but ultimately you have to sustain yourself.
Yes, sir, definitely. Because they start in a joss and ultimately it goes on a loss.
Yeah, it really balloon like it's a balloon concept. When become bigger and bust, what is the point? And you get into debt trap after that.
Yes, sir. So being into so much of vertical in ministry and experience, so can you just share a top three concept for our all young entrepreneurs, which they should apply from day one? Any three, I mean, the challenge or the concept in their entrepreneurial journey for ultimate success and growth.
Actually, I feel new generation, first generation, suppose if you are not having business family, they should start the trading to understand the commodity, to understand the market. Because trading is not very costly and it is instant revenue recovery. Trading they should do. Whatever way of trading, small or big, whatever the trading is one thing. I mean, anything you do trading. Nextly, service providing to basically you are going for some repair, maintenance or something. And thirdly, what I feel, if you are able to expand, then go for MSME way of model so the local consumption is catered. So you have got a very close by market and you don't have to run around for your marketing product very far up places because transport is very costly now. That is the thing. And if you are able to leverage the IT technology or AI, you can generate ideas because IT technology is basically idea. Your idea is the money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, any specific strategy you want to suggest our young entrepreneurs that they should maintain that strategy throughout their journey?
No, one should have a dream, but that dream should not be reaching the sky instantly. Like you have to gradually improve, and obviously you take partners, 2, 3 partners, not single-handedly, not possible nowadays because you require skills and different division of labor among your partners. And you can also co-financing because that will be easier for you because one cannot generate large finance from one pocket. 2-3% together. Even bank also become comfortable because 3% there. Obviously, your joint liability is stronger, so that repayment is stronger. And thirdly, I understand because business is not that easy as you one perceive on that. But if you succeed, and there's nothing like it really, because
Yes, sir.
that's what the business people are really succeeding. I mean,
Yes, sir.
they
Yes, sir.
make money and they really do wonders in their business.
Yes, sir. So throughout our conversation, you have mentioned all the time that IT is booming and AI is exploding. So you want to give any tips or any idea to our generation, because recently you have also launched a new language in IIT Chennai on the IT enabled side, where our young entrepreneurs can grow in that sector.
Actually, nowadays, no business can survive without IT technology or AI now.
Yes, sir.
Even marketing also, you have to depend on the IT.
Yes, yes.
Total marketing is mostly because it's a very far reaching, is very quick reaching. Earlier days, newspaper advertisement, nobody bothers now because
Yes, sir.
digital media is the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even the manufacturing also, all processes are through IT driven now,
Mm-hmm.
because the some computer oriented processes are driven. Everything is now, even if hardware manufacturing also, it is through computer process. Machinery also numerically controlled, everything. So IT is one of the integral part of the any business now. One has to understand. Even
Mm-hmm.
your auditing, accounting, everything is IT oriented now.
Mm-hmm.
Even some operational software also you have to IT. That's you can't escape from that. One has to be thorough in that. Thirdly, what happened in even payment also is IT based now.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, the check payment or physical payment is not there at all.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, IT digital transfers. Obviously, you have to integrate IT in a business very big way. That is the only way of doing business now. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, in that, how you customize yourself, how you utilize the IT and the strength into your business, because that is one thing. Even the banks also, without IT, they would have failed. The
Yes, sir.
banking business without OT would have failed miserably. Those
Mm-hmm.
who lacked there now you are now in the market now in the banking business itself.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, maybe 30 years ago during Rajiv White time, employees were total strike against the competition banks. Now no bank can say that without competition they can survive in the market at all. So
Yes,
IT is
yes.
integral part now, no doubt on that.
Mm-hmm. So here one questions comes like from your suggestion. So any particular IT focus area where our entrepreneurs, IT entrepreneurs can innovation or focus on the innovation, any particular segment or area you can suggest?
Actually, in India now, in especially all over India, every state has its own. In India, especially our Odisha, especially
Mm-hmm.
the village spoke how to give them advantage through IT for their price discovery.
Price
Because I
discovery.
know in Sundargarh district, the mushroom cultivation is there. Even
Mm-hmm.
coastal area also there. For
Mm-hmm.
mushroom is basically highly perishable. Now what they have, I'm told, they dry it, make it powder. So the protein manufacturer like a Bonvita or all those people are buying. This is a very once you value addition, price is higher
Yes.
rather than selling the mushroom in the open market. So
Mm-hmm.
this type of linkage has to be done, and
Okay.
how to find that linkage is more important. And secondly, price discovery mechanism has to be there, because I have seen in coastal area, before the fisherman lands into the harbor, they
Mm.
know the price of fish going on. So
Yes,
otherwise,
yes.
if he doesn't know, that he sells a very low price and he gets into, low income. So the price discovery is very important. Now it's possible because the digital technology is even the vegetable product also. One has to know the price,
Mm-hmm.
banana, whatever. And secondly, what happened now, the real technology, because the technology, agri technology, you
Mm-hmm.
should target not the flush season, but rather the lean season.
Okay.
Like cauliflower, in the December month, it will sell at 1 rupee per kilo. But
Mm-hmm.
just October, it sells 100 rupees kilo.
Yes, sir,
So
definitely.
slightly off season, you should make a target.
Mm-hmm.
Because peak season, it is loss making. I have seen many agri commodity perishable, even tomato also, it sells at 50 rupees, 50 paise per in the January month. But you should not target production in the month of January.
Yes.
Rather than you should have a production in the month of June, July, so that you will have a higher price. So these are
Okay.
all when you want to have a good price, and obviously off season is model is good.
Okay. So,
And
so
people are
here,
consuming the
here you
same
are
product throughout the year now.
Yes. You are here mentioning our IT entrepreneurs that they should focus on the market linkage technology per district products, which is actually lacking in Odisha. And also another
Yeah,
side is the agri technology. You are suggesting our
yeah,
entrepreneurs to do
yeah.
innovation on that. Okay. That's a
Because
great.
why? Because tomato gets wasted in January. Why
Mhm.
not make a tomato ketchup and maybe puree?
Yes, sir.
India, Odisha, we don't have facility at all. Like
Yes.
making puree and sell it afterwards is possible. But we
Mhm.
don't have even no. I don't think so. Very few players are there making a puree out of tomato or maybe ketchup out of tomato in Odisha. So we
Definitely.
lose I mean, miss the opportunity really.
Yes, sir. So IT should be enabled in all this. So now this is the best thing that our IT entrepreneurs typically go into the market linkage, and some new technology should be innovated to do all
Yeah,
this. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this great insight, and definitely your all this message and suggestion tips are going to help across India and definitely to the entrepreneurs of Odisha. Thank you again, sir.
thank you. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
day.
you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Dear friends, let me know what you learned from this episode and how it shaped your personal life. आपको 3 चीजें करना है. फर्स्ट, ये चैनल को सब्सक्राइब एंड एज मच एज शेयर करना है, बिकॉज जितना ये चैनल की स्ट्रेंथ बढ़ेगा उतना वैल्यूएबल गेस्ट हम आप सबके लिए ला पाएंगे. नंबर 2, ऐसी कौन सी टॉपिक है या ऐसे कौन से गेस्ट है जिन्हें आप नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में सुनना या देखना चाहते हैं. नंबर 3, ये एपिसोड को एटलीस्ट कोई एक के साथ जरूर शेयर करें, क्योंकि ये एक कन्वर्सेशन किसी की जिंदगी बदल सकती है. थैंक यू वेरी मच फ्रेंड्स, ये एपिसोड को लास्ट तक देखने के लिए. आई विल बैक अगेन विद एपिक एपिसोड. टिल देन, आई एम मधुस्मिता विद टीम, वेटिंग टू सी यू अगेन.